What's up? This is Toby, and you're watching Shoot the Messenger. Today, we're going to talk about a little bit of everything. It's just me and Kassidy today. We're going to be talking about a bunch of, as in her words, brain rot. So,
It is.
But let's start with Temptation Island, because that's not normally a show that I would watch. Obviously, I've been sick all week watching crazy stuff on Netflix, and not usually a show I'd watch, but I didn't know what to watch. I watched a bunch of stuff I wouldn't watch, to be honest, a lot of reality television. And yeah, and I said I watched Alone. I watched like 2 seasons of that. I watched a whole season of Temptation Island. But Temptation Island to me is interesting because there's an actual purpose to it.
Yeah, but it's a really bad purpose.
Well, it is, and and that's how my wife felt when she saw it. She said, "Why would you do this to yourself?" And I feel the same way. Like,
Yeah.
what's the point? But as I watched it, I started to kind of realize the purpose of it. I started to understand it more because these people are already kind of in shambles.
Yeah, and I kind of get it, but also still no. Me and my nail girl, shout out Candace. I don't know if she'll ever watch this, but shout out Candace, love her. We started watching it, and she was like, I don't understand why anyone would get on here. It's literally asking to be cheated on.
Mm-hmm.
It is an absolute dumpster fire. Why would you want to do this? And I went, I don't know. The only way that I can possibly see doing it that might be looked at as more acceptable, but still a really stupid thing to do, is if you guys are talking about getting married and you guys already trust each other, but you just want to see the trust. You want to have it proved. But even then, it's still not great.
Yeah, and that's it too, because if they're already, like I said, in shambles, they're not doing well. Why would you try and prevent someone from doing something, right? It's like my mom always said to me, if you feel like your girl or wife is going to cheat on you, then why stop it?
Yeah.
Why are you preventing it? Like, you're with somebody that you're like afraid, you don't even trust really, because if you feel that way, you obviously don't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this is like a mediator, kind of. It's like we're going to go in there. I don't trust you to begin with. I don't think you're going to make it through this process. But if you do, then I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that they're looking at it like from that perspective, which is they don't want to give up on their partner necessarily. They do want to give them kind of that last chance. An example, Grant. Grant was a mess from the get-go, right? And so when you see it, and we can only talk about so much about this today because she's only a few episodes. How many? About 4?
4.
I watched the whole thing. She did not. So
I just started it yesterday.
okay. So she'll be done in a couple days.
Yes.
But so I'm gonna try not to give anything away. But Grant's a mess. Grant has a beautiful girlfriend.
Absolutely gorgeous. Love her.
And she seems sweet enough too, and you can tell she's just kind of sick of the games, right? Because he just makes poor decision after poor decisions.
She also was sitting there saying that it's like the most toxic thing that she's ever been in when she was sitting by the pool.
Yeah.
And it's just sad that she's still kind of giving him a chance. And then, of course, he ends up being the first guy to kiss someone.
Exactly. And it was like this, second episode?
The third. The third episode, he's the first guy to kiss someone. I'm not to the point where I can guarantee that at the bonfire, they show her that. But I have not seen the bonfire yet of the aftermath.
So this won't give anything away. What I didn't like about the show is what you just said, the clips. So
I love it.
They show so out of context. and they're making them cheat. So, and what I mean by that is they're making it seem like the other person's doing something when they're not. Like there's a, and I'm sure you've seen this when they were like doing the whipped cream on the neck and all that. So if you're on the show and you know your partners, you know, you guys have your little deal that you made, like what the line is that you're not going to cross. Then all of a sudden, you see this clip of like girls sucking whipped cream off your guys and then like off his fingers and all that, right? And the next thing you know, you're watching this going,
Well, if
but
he can do that, then I can do worse.
exactly. But like what they don't show is where like Brienne was kind of like, okay, all right, that's that's enough. You know what I mean? That's enough. They're not showing that part. They're just showing the actual act. And so then they cut this a little short clip, shows you that. Now the girl's sitting there going, he's already hooking up with people and he's not. You know what I mean? And so now, same vice versa, he's watching and she's doing kind of the same thing because they're playing these games that the show has ready to go
for the singles to make it seem like that they're the ones making this up. But yeah, no, it's so bad. I told my nail girl that because I've watched a few of the seasons that are on Peacock, not the one on Netflix. I told her that it's kind of boring before the first bonfire. Mm-hmm. And then you get to the first bonfire, and then that's when everything gets let loose because they're like, oh, so that's what's happening? And then they just go off and do whatever they want.
No, you're right. The bonfire definitely made it interesting.
Yeah.
Because they always get super nervous when the bonfire comes because you know it's on now.
It's really, like, I know how bad it is because, like, just how out of context it all is. Mm-hmm. But it's my favorite part. Yeah. It is my favorite part because it just, everyone gets so upset and so angry.
It's, I mean, and Grant, you kind of feel like from episode 1, he doesn't have much of a chance. You know, and I will say his adventure on this show, without giving it away, is, you know, a roller coaster, and it's interesting. But what I find unique about it is he doesn't ever seem to like take any kind of accountability or learn a lesson. You know what I mean? Everything seems to be her fault when he's constantly just being a douchebag. Yeah, so and that is kind of the issue. Even I like the host. The host, I don't know.
Elle Wahlberg.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. When I saw it was produced by Mark Wahlberg, I assumed that it was because Mark Wahlberg is an actual producer in Hollywood now. So I thought this was his show, and then I seen that guy, and I'm like, oh, so you're Mark Wahlberg? So
two that are famous.
But he must be like some kind of, I don't know what that guy does for a living, but he must be some kind of counselor or something because he gave them good advice. Like a lot of times when he would talk to them, he'd give them great advice and he would try not to pick sides, and I liked him.
He made that very clear, and like he doesn't pick sides ever. Like even as like each gender, I guess, comes to the bonfire, he's just like talking about them and only them. Mm-hmm. But as I'm sitting there, I'm just like, I kind of want you to tell the guys that they're awful. Yeah. But I also know that he's not going to, and then I know that he's just equally as nice to everyone, whether they're in the wrong or not. Yeah. He's smart, he's great. Kind of disappointing that he doesn't go off sometimes. I really want him to.
There was one part in the show, I want to say it was Brienne, but where he says, you don't think that maybe you're not taking any accountability for yourself in this? You know what I mean? Like, he did kind of call him out because he was like,
but like, I want full on.
Yeah, I know. He's very nice and very respectful, but he's dealing with some pretty like fragile stuff because these people, you can tell these people, at least on this show, they were all at least together for like 2.5 years, 3 years, right? No. Right. Who was the shortest?
The shortest is
because Grant and Ashley, they were a couple years in.
No. a year and a half.
Brian, it was the Tyler and her had been together for a couple years, right? The blonde.
The Asian girl, I still don't. I can't.
They were all around a couple years.
No. There's one couple. I cannot remember which one.
Yeah.
Who had only been together for a year.
Yeah.
And I thought that was crazy to already be going on to that show.
Yeah, I wonder which one that is. I don't remember.
It might be So I know Grant and Ashley were a year and a half. The Asian girl and that one guy,
I can't think of his name.
They're 3.5 years.
Was it Ethan or something like that?
No, I don't think it was Ethan.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember his name at all.
Neither can I. I can't remember either of their names.
I remember Beyond, Tyler, and Grant. And
Ashley.
And Ashley, yeah.
And I think one of them's Taylor.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know. I'm 4 episodes in,
but
I can't tell you.
I will tell you this. When you're done with this thing, you're going to be pretty shocked at some of the decisions that were made. And you're going to be pretty surprised by some of the choices that the couples made amongst themselves. Some of them are pretty obvious. I think you'll know right away. I mean, obviously, I don't want to give anything away, but you can tell Grant's not headed down the best road right now.
No.
Yeah. But as far as the other couples, it's interesting dynamic. My favorite part of the show, and I don't know if they did this on the other one, and I hope this won't give anything away, is they bring out it's like a big tent, and you're allowed to go into the tent, and there's no cameras. And nothing gets filmed inside of that tent. You're allowed, but here's the catch. When you go into that tent, a giant alarm and red light go off in the other house that tells yours that somebody is in the tent and doesn't tell you who. So as soon as someone goes in there, their whole house starts flashing red, and you see all the girls going, what? Because they want to know who the hell just went in to, because they have it too. The girls have it too. So it's like on both sides, but it really gets interesting once that gets brought into play, because it kind of gives people a little bit of privacy, and it's scary.
I think I can't remember what show. I think it's Temptation Island, but obviously the one on Peacock, there was a light that they brought into the living room area, and it would turn red if someone from the other house, I think, kissed or anything more. Yeah. Like, minimum was kiss. Obviously not touch, because those games that they play, that would be going red quite frequently. Sure. So I think it's like kissed or anything more, it would turn red. I'm pretty sure it was Temptation Island.
And that's another thing. If you're going to be on that show and have your limits, I don't think you could really get upset when you see these little clips and they're not really doing anything that they're not supposed to be. Like, granted, like, it might make you jealous because you're like, but you got to remember why you're here and remember the games. Like if I was there and I knew my girl was on the other side, and I knew that the producers that were having us play these crazy games that were all like kind of sexual games, right? Now, I'm going to assume she's playing the same games over there, right? And so I'm just going to have to she's going to have to understand. I'm going to have to understand. Like, you just have to trust each other to some extent.
That's why I think that 3.5-year relationship, they are the healthiest, with no rules set, but they obviously know, like, not to go past a certain level. Like, they're, so far at least, they're completely okay with all the games being played. And they know that they're going to, like, be around other singles and, like, maybe be a little touchy, but not a whole lot. And they're not going to be upset about it, but they know the line that they shouldn't be crossing. And it is what it is at that point.
Yeah. Do you feel like Temptation Island on Peacock is different than the Netflix one?
No, it's the exact same.
It is?
Yeah. They did not change a thing.
Yeah. And I was surprised. I mean, it got canceled on low ratings because, like I said, it kept my attention the whole time. I thought it was
there was
entertaining.
5 seasons.
Yeah.
5 seasons on Peacock. I think it's because it's on like USA something or that whatever channel that is. And like no one has cable anymore. No one and me not even remembering the channel name, that's going to tell you a whole lot. Of course it had low ratings because it
You just don't think people are watching it on mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Once Netflix turns something, or picks something up, it usually ends up being pretty good because Netflix makes. That's one thing about Netflix is their movies are good, their shows are good. Like they kill it on everything they do. So they're like I was telling my wife, they're like the Amazon of the music or not music, but the movie industry now. It's like I remember when Netflix first came out, and you'd get the disc in the mail and all that. It's crazy. So you
My
look at them
mom
now,
never
it's like
got those.
it's crazy, you know.
It was always my grandparents when me and my friend would go stay the night for like a weekend.
Yeah.
Just like 3 Netflix discs that we get to choose from.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I remember I wouldn't even return them, and then I'd have to pay like hella late fees because I'd just sit on the disc for like weeks. But
I think me and my friend would even put the DVDs into our Wii.
yeah.
not even a DVD player, into the Wii. It was
Well, hopefully they come out with some more seasons of that because
I'm
I
sure
was
they
gonna go
will.
watch kind of the older ones, like you said, go on. Where did you say they were? Peacock. Yeah. So I guess I can go watch some other ones now that I've actually watched one and enjoyed it.
Season 1, Evan is who you have to look out for in season 1.
Okay. All right.
That's the one where you're gonna have to do a deep dive after.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's bad. It's so bad.
Out of the other seasons, is that your favorite season?
I don't even think I watched all 5.
Okay.
Honestly. And it was also maybe early last year, maybe even before that. So I couldn't even tell you. I've watched way too many different seasons of different reality shows at this point.
I was going to start watching Love is Blind after
Oh my
that
God.
because it came up as a suggested thing after that. Because after I watched that, Netflix like, oh, you'll love all these shows. And now there's like
Too Hot to Handle,
a bunch.
Perfect
Yeah,
Match, Love is
exactly.
Blind.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them.
Yes.
And the only one that looked familiar to me was Love is Blind. So I was like, oh, and then I just didn't click on it. I don't know why. I thought about watching it. What is the premise of that show?
Oh, guys and girls in different quarters for 4 weeks? No, a week? 4 weeks? Somewhere in that time frame. A week to 4 weeks.
Just random guys, random girls.
Yes. So they're all from a certain state, certain city area. I think season 4 was Seattle. Except for some odd reason, there were like 2 people from Portland, which I did not agree with. A lot of people did not agree with. But it's like a certain state, certain city radius. And so it's only people from that area. But I think that they filmed the first couple of whatever in LA, where they have it all set up. So basically they're in different living quarters. They go on dates in pods, is what it's called, pods. And then there's this little like mirror looking thing in the wall. And so one person's here and then one person's here on the other side of the wall. So basically they like fall in love, never seen each other, nothing. They propose behind the wall.
Propose?
Propose.
Okay.
Literally propose.
Why are they proposing?
Because it's like...
What the heck's going on here?
It's trying to prove a point that love is blind.
Okay.
Like it doesn't matter what you look like.
Okay.
I don't ask. I don't know. I'm not the one that came up with it.
It just seemed a little quick, but okay.
Oh, trust me, it gets quicker.
Okay.
So then when they get engaged, that's when they meet each other. And then, yeah.
So they literally never see each other?
No, until they're engaged.
Until it's game time?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Well, and then after everyone, not everyone's engaged, but you know, like a certain amount of people get engaged. They go off on their little trip for like another week maybe. And then 3 weeks is them living like in the real world together in their own little apartment that like Love is Blind provides for the time being. And then they plan their wedding. And at the end of the 4 weeks, they go to the altar. And in front of friends and family, they either say yes or no.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know it was that intense.
Oh, it is that intense.
Wow, that's crazy.
They have a better success rate, I think, than The Bachelor and Bachelorette.
So it's just completely random strangers. They're like hidden behind a wall. So when they're originally talking to each other, are they talking through a wall or something? Okay.
Yeah, the little mirror thing is like really like kind of blue oceany kind of vibe where it like kind of moves and whatever. So.
And they just get to know each other. And
They
is it just two people getting to know each other, or is she picking out of a bunch of dudes, or is dudes picking out of a bunch of...
So for the first day, it's just like a ton of blind dates. Okay. And then eventually it just starts to get dwindled down and down and down.
Kind of like speed dating, kind of?
Yeah, speed dating. Yeah.
Wow. So would you recommend it? Should I watch it?
Okay. I'm going to say yes. But the first 5-6 episodes, the most boring thing ever. Okay. Because that's them in the pods. Mm-hmm. There is some drama here and there. Because like, oh no, 2 girls are talking to the same guy. Oh my gosh. You know, like that kind of drama. Mm-hmm. But then it gets to their little vacation and then the real world, and that's just a whole mess. This past season that just happened, like it literally just ended. Mm-hmm. I'm still so angry with this guy named Dave. I want to punch him in the face so bad. Yeah, no, for more than half of anyone that has watched that season, I'm sure wants to do the same thing.
Dave's gonna get his ass whooped.
He better. He deserves it.
And how many seasons are there? 8, okay.
Yes, they just celebrated their 5-year anniversary of Love is Blind.
And the hosts are, I look like Nick Lachey is one of the hosts?
Yeah, Nick and Vanessa Lachey.
Wow. Wait, Nick married that chick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been married for a while.
Wow, okay. I knew that she was famous too. I've seen her before.
Sure.
Right? I just didn't know where from. You know, as soon as I seen her, I'm like, oh, I remember her, but I didn't know where from. I think she like hosted like an MTV show.
Oh, she did. She did.
Something like that. Yeah.
I believe she interviewed Nick Lachey and Jessica.
Oh yeah, Simpson.
Yeah. I think that she interviewed them at one point.
You want to know something interesting about Nick Lachey is, you know, he owns the Tacoma Rainiers baseball team. Mm-hmm. He's one of the owners.
I thought you were going to sit here and tell me that he was in a boy band, and I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Like, I'm not that young, Toby. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't...
Like, I've heard of him before, yeah.
I didn't know until Love is Blind, I'm not going to lie.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I had no idea who Nick Lachey was.
Wow. Yeah, no, he's a boy band.
Yeah.
Was he a 98 Degrees guy?
I think so.
I think so, too.
I think so. I cannot guarantee that because I don't know my 90s boy bands.
So that's one thing I do know about, because that was like right when I was like in high school, and there was a lot of boy bands coming out at that time between NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. They kind of dominated, but before them,
100%.
You had New Kids on the Block and
Boyz
New Kids
II Men.
Yeah, well, that was, I don't even like calling them a boy band. I'm not gonna lie, because they were genuinely respected a ton by like as an R&B group. But
if you look at it as like the generalized, like they fit in that category.
You're right. It's just I've never heard anybody call Boyz II Men
I'm so sorry if I offended a community.
A boy band, please, like ever, yeah.
Please don't cancel me.
But they were pretty awesome. But New Kids on the Block was extremely popular. Like, I didn't think there would ever be a boy band bigger than them. They were giant. And then
the Beatles?
And then
technically?
Beatles were pretty big.
Yeah.
Then you had NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, which are humongous. And I was like, I don't know. And this is why I brought this up. Then you had 98 Degrees show up. And when 98 Degrees showed up, I'm not going to lie, we just made fun of them all the time, because we were like, they're like this little, they were trying so hard to be like back, and it was Nick Lachey and like 3 other guys, and they were all trying to act all suave, and I
could see that.
I didn't like them, and my wife, she gets mad because she loved 98 because she was a little girl back then. She was like, let's see.
Does she watch Love is Blind now?
They were probably like No, I don't believe she's seen any of those episodes at all.
I'm
but
so disappointed.
but she really liked 98 Degrees back then. So that's why.
Wild.
Yeah. And then he ended up marrying Jessica because Jessica was huge in the 90s. She was very famous too. And
She's still in and out
she was just,
sometimes.
yeah, well, she's in and out brain wise all the time. Like, sorry, Jessica, you're not the brightest, but I haven't seen her in a long time.
I've heard some stuff about her. Did I retain any of that information? No.
Yeah. I used to think she was really pretty, kind of dumb as rocks, but
I think what stays in my brain the most is like her little perfume thing that you can find at like TJ Maxx or Marshall's now.
yeah, I don't know where she went. She just vanished one day. It's kind of like Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton was like super famous and then
She's back now.
just kind of vanished one day.
You haven't heard that she's back now?
No.
She has a kid.
Huh.
She has a whole baby.
Yeah.
Her engagement ring, fucking enormous.
She's always had money. That's one thing about Miss Paris Hilton. She's always had hella money. So.
She also, this is gonna be so funny. You know how Motorola came out with the Razr Plus now, like a few years ago, their little flip phone, right? She has a collab with them now.
Oh, she does.
For a hot pink Motorola Razr.
Nice.
And when it's closed in their little like line thing at the top, it says "That's hot."
Wow.
It's so fitting. She really knew the audience.
She had a show with Nicole Richie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
They came back with that actually too.
They did?
Yes.
Wow. No way. What?
Like this year, I think.
Wow. That's Lionel Richie's daughter.
I forget who that is.
Lionel Richie's just a famous. Do you ever watch American Idol?
Yeah.
He's one of the judges.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That guy.
Mm-hmm.
That one guy.
That's Lionel Richie. Yep.
That's crazy.
Great.
Really?
One of my favorite old time singers ever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that guy has more amazing songs like from the 70s that I can even count on my hands.
And that's who to her again?
That's her dad.
Nah.
Mm-hmm. Lionel Richie's Nicole Richie's dad.
No.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem right.
They had a show together. You don't remember that? The Nicole Richie show? Lionel was her dad on the show even.
And what year did that come out?
Oh, 1930. I'm just long time ago.
Probably before I was born.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
So why would I have seen it?
I don't know, because you know who Nicole Richie is for some reason. I wouldn't expect you to know who she is. She was irrelevant then too, so.
So the whole reason why is because, of course, I've done like a little bit of research on Paris Hilton because Kim Kardashian started as her personal assistant.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. That's where Kim learned all her tricks.
Yes.
Got you.
I'm telling you, the Kardashians are my whole entire life. And I know way too much.
That's too bad. That's too bad.
I can't help it. I love them.
When I'm not watching like dumb reality shows on Netflix, I watch there's this guy I watch on YouTube named Beard Meets Food.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
And he's got a long ass beard and he eats.
That's still brain rot, you know.
Well, that's what I was just getting at. So when I watch that show, I always think to myself, what are you doing with your life? Like why are you watching this? I literally just trying to see if he completes these food challenges because they're always like just ginormous. And I'm like, there's no way he's eating all that food, right? But I will say at this point, I just fast forward to about like the end just to see if he does it, and then I turn it. So I don't like watching him eat it very much, you know.
I just watched that couple. Yeah.
I forgot his name, but yeah.
I don't know. I forget.
Yeah.
I really liked them though, but I watched them eat a pizza meant for 15 people. And then it was like 60 something like squares. They got it cut into squares. Mm-hmm. 4 different flavors. One was like mac and cheese, and then Hawaiian, and then spaghetti, and then like an all veggie one.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
So I got out back in 20.